Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Love the sport coat.
Thank you. Oh, we got the people coming in.
So get out of here again. So you can have that up there. Get out of here. You know, this present view.
Hello, everyone. We're going to be starting in just a minute.
We get in the video?
Yeah.
Please. Good help, Adam, if you possibly.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Jonathan Brett. I am the Associate Director of Housing Resources and Student Financial Services here at BU Medical Campus. Just a couple of housekeeping things. If you have your microphone on, please put them on mute, just to make sure that there's no outstanding sounds that are distracting. So today's housing fair is going to allow you to start your housing search and provide connections to find available housing around Boston and adjacent communities. We're thankful to have a number of real estate companies and property management groups to help you today. They've taken their time to assist with the tools to help you find a place to live in Boston. So here's some of them. And before we begin, just a few pieces of housekeeping. So we are going to be recording this session. So just being aware of that everything that's going to be presented today is also going to be viewable and posted on our website. If you do have questions, please put them in the chat feature, not in the chat feature, rather the Q&A feature. We will have time after each presenter to do Q&A. So if you put them in the Q&A feature rather than the chat, this will help to streamline everything. After the presentation is over, the recording and in contact is going to be available to everybody who is presenting today, as well as everything will be posted on our Housing Resources website. Lastly, the Housing Fair is offered as a guide and resource for our incoming and continuing students. We're not recommending any product over another, but rather providing this courtesy to have companies who've worked with BUMC students showcase their services for you. With that being said, let's get started. All right, so let's talk about some of the resources that we have available through our office. So BUMC Housing Resources we have a lot of great information on here. I highly recommend visiting our website if you haven't already done so. We have a wealth of information that you should consider when you start your search. Our FAQs page has a number of topics. We have information of how to start your search, what to consider when signing your lease, and utility setup information. If you're an international student, we have a page dedicated to issues that you should consider when looking for apartments, including documents that you may need to sign a lease, as well as considerations for what you need to know when you're searching for housing. We have some information about alternate housing options on our housing search webpage. For example, Nesterly can pair students with older citizens who can offer housing at below market rate in exchange for some household chores or assistance to yard work. So visit the housing search website for more information. Again, this will be provided after the presentation. So the off-campus services website is provided to the BU community as a housing search engine, free to anyone with a BU email address. You can search for housing based on price, number of bedrooms, neighborhoods, proximity to the medical campus, pet friendliness, and many other options. The site has recently upgraded features, including virtual tours. All of our presenters today have properties listed on the off-campus services website. Additionally, new properties are added regularly, so come back often. If you haven't set up a BU email account yet, that's okay, you can set a guest account, but we encourage everybody after this presentation to go ahead and register and create your own off-campus services account. So, there was a lot going on with COVID-19 right now. This is why we're doing things remotely, obviously. There are a number of things that you will need to consider when you are coming to campus. Should you look for housing for fall of 2020? This really is going to depend on your program. So if you're in one of the programs that are Learn from Anywhere, which means you can be on campus or you can also be learning remotely. You have the option of moving to Boston at a later date. However, some programs are going to require in-person attendance, especially for those in medical and dental programs. Whatever your decision, please be in contact with your school and college about your decision. A number of students have asked about BU managed properties for the fall of 2020 semester. Those are managed by BU Real Estate, which is a different office than Housing Resources. They manage properties on the Charles River and Fenway campuses. However, unfortunately, due to the uncertainty with COVID-19, BU Real Estate is not accepting applications for new students at this time. This might change later in the summer semester. However, at this point, they haven't made that decision. So what you should do if you are interested in that, check bu.edu/real estate for more information. We will also provide that information on our COVID-19 website. We also advise students to view properties before you sign your leases. As mentioned before, virtual tours can all be done online. If you can't do a virtual tour with the property, we advise placing video calls with you and the person offering the property for rent. So you can be able to see the property in real time, so you'll have a better idea of what the property looks like. Make sure you understand and abide by any terms within the lease that you sign. If you decide to sign a lease but choose not to move to Boston, be aware that you are going to be fully liable for any penalties and payments outlined in your lease. If you have further questions about what to consider in your lease, we have more information on the COVID-19 housing webpage. Also, university-wide COVID information is going to be available on the BU COVID-19 webpage. So roommates. So these are going to be really important. Roommates are a great way to help mitigate your living expenses. Boston is a very expensive city if you have never been here before, and living with more than just yourself can help you bring down the out-of-pocket living expenses. If you are looking for roommates, where should you look? The Roommate Finder on the off-campus services will help you connect with students across BU and the Boston area. You can also create a roommate profile to help students also connect with you as well as you look for roommates. Also, if your school or college has an incoming student Facebook group, utilize this connection as a hub to connect with other people. Everyone will be starting around the same time with similar timelines of when they plan to come to Boston. Make sure when you connect with roommates, to the extent that you can, find people that you kind of mesh with, that you're compatible with, that you have compatible living habits. Ask some uncomfortable questions now about your living habits or living styles. Are you sloppy? Are you clean? These are things that you're going to want to consider. So have the uncomfortable conversations now so you don't have the more uncomfortable situation of living with someone who you do not get along with. Lastly, you're going to want to coordinate with your roommates about who's going to buy or bring household items, furniture, and who's going to set up the utilities. You may want to find lower cost options, additionally called sublets. You can find these on the off-campus services website as well as other websites around the internet. This is a great way to help find lower cost housing, but what will happen is that this is a vacating lease. So somebody is leaving, they have a lease, so that will allow you to move in and take over the lease, but you really want to ask the question about whether or not the sublet is renewable. If it's not, you will have to move out. But that can be an option for a number of people if you're looking for a place right away and you want to take over a lease. So if you have those roommates, you're looking for places, where should you live? This is a question I get all the time, and we get from students and even people who are faculty and staff moving to the city. Where should I live? What's a good neighborhood? What's a bad neighborhood? This is actually really going to depend on your specific needs. There isn't a right answer for everyone. Do you want to live closer to campus? If you do, you may have to sacrifice on size and you may have to pay a little bit more. Also, if you want to live a little bit farther away, you may be able to have something a little bit less expensive, although what you may also have is a longer commute. There's not a right or wrong answer. You just want to really consider some of the things. And what we were looking for is the 3 C's of neighborhoods. And for housing, is the place you're looking at clean? Do you feel comfortable? And is it close to public transit? So these are something that I could answer saying that I feel comfortable in some neighborhoods and somebody else may not feel comfortable in another neighborhood. That's okay. There's not a right or a wrong answer. It's what you feel. In regards to public transit, make sure that you are utilizing the services that are available on the off-campus services website, as well as the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, or the MBTA. Their trip planner is a really great way to figure out how to get from point A to point B within the city on buses, trains, and commuter rails. So we're in the South End neighborhood. This map is going to be helpful to provide to you information about where we are located. So this is going to be information about where we are in the South End neighborhood, as well as approximate commute times on public transit. You don't have to scribble this information down right now. We will be sending this to you, but just being aware that there are different types of neighborhoods, and you just want to know how to get from point A to point B. This is a resource we will provide to you after the session. Again, so we have some fees. So what kind of fees could you expect to pay when looking for housing? So these are a number of standard fees that you may have to pay. So credit check fee. That's going to be per person on the lease. So if you have 2 or 3 people, each person's going to have their own credit check fee. Last month's rent, security deposit, which is capped at 1 month's rent, a key deposit, which can be about $100 to $150, and then an agency fee. So these kind of fees will be, our presenters will provide a little bit more information about what specific fees you may have to pay with them when you are setting up their, working with them and trying to set up a agreement to live in a property. With that being said, this is some basic information. So if anyone has any questions, this is the perfect time to put them out there.
Yeah, Jonathan, we just wanted to take a check with everyone participating because someone had reported there's no option for audio or video. So are people able to see the slides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because I am sharing that.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was set. All right. Yes, there is a question around if you're seeking housing for the fall, what move-in date should be requested? Ideally, if a student wants to move in a week prior to orientation, around the end of August, so August 21st. So can you kind of give some guidance on when leases work and how students should be navigating that process?
Sure. So if your program is starting at the end of August, you're going to want to try to find housing that's going to be starting at the beginning of August. So most leases start on the 1st of the month. So if you're looking for a place to get in for your orientation, I presume you're probably with the School of Public Health, but you might be with GMS, that you would be starting in late August. So that means you'd want to try to find an August 1st, or if it's available, an August 15th lease. If you find a September 1st property, which are pretty popular, that you could potentially be moving in after your orientation. So that would require you to find temporary housing and things like that. So being just aware of some of those dates that you're moving in. So I would suggest if you are going to be, you want to be settled by the time your orientation starts, that you'll want to start for the weeks before your program starts.
Great. And then speaking of dates, can you expand a little bit more for students who start on the September 2nd? If they move in the 1st, should they contact their landlord to see if there's any ability to move in early so it's not such a close timeline for the 1st and starting classes on the 2nd?
You would want to ask the question with your landlords. If somebody is moving out on the 31st, it may not necessarily be possible. But if the property is vacant, they might be able to have some sort of option for you where they can move in ahead of time. That's something you'd want to work out with either your landlord, the property management company, and something if you're working with a real estate agent, ask them whether or not that's going to be a possibility.
Okay, another good transition for me, thank you. Are there properties that will be available in late July? They're wondering how early you can get in if there's kind of a lot of students trying to get in for August 1st and September 1st. Should they also be looking for things available earlier than that to make sure they have housing available?
So that will be some good questions that we can ask our presenters from our real estate companies and our property management companies, and they can tell you what is available, and they'll actually be better suited to answer those questions.
Perfect, great. And the one last question was just if you could talk more about how public transportation has been affected by COVID-19.
Sure. So with COVID-19, there has been a reduction in service at this time. So some lines that were running on a daily Monday through Friday schedule, some of them have been brought down to a Saturday schedule. It is affected kind of from line to line. It's going to be one of those things that, depending on how the progression with COVID-19 goes, how much more the MBTA is going to be returning to regular service. At this time, it is reduced just because they have fewer people on public transit than they had before. What you'd want to do, MBTA, MBTA.com, their website, they have some information that is updated very frequently about what the status of their schedules are going to be in future months. All right, is that it?
Great, thank you. Yeah, we can keep moving.
All right, awesome, great. All right, so I am going to stop talking for a few minutes, and I'm going to have my colleagues from Center Realty Group, Emily Beal and Willem Lefebvre, and they are going to present their property and their services to you. So Emily, William, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Emily Beal from Center Realty Group,
And I'm William Lefebvre.
and we have been rental and sales agents for many years, and we really enjoy helping students, faculty, and staff from BU find the homes that best fit their needs. We also have 16 other agents that we work with, and it is our passion to provide the service that you need to find a great apartment for your situation. And as real estate agents, we've seen many different situations. And during this time, COVID-19 is making it really interesting and challenging. At this time, we can't do in-person showings if a unit is occupied, but more and more listings, we see that there are virtual tours that are available. So that gives you a really good idea whether an apartment or a new home is going to work for you. So we suggest that you check out the different neighborhoods and look at the video tours, and we will be glad to help you answer any questions. But what we're going to do today, we're going to show you some real live examples of apartments that have video tours, and that should help you to answer some questions and get you on your way to figuring out which apartment may fit your needs. So as Jonathan said, Boston is made up of many different neighborhoods. Take a chance to figure out what might work for you. And we also wanted to let you know that once you rent an apartment with us at Center Realty Group, we act as a resource in the community. And we'd like to welcome you to Boston, and we're going to try to make this search as comfortable and easy and expedient for you as possible.
Jonathan, just one thing. You said, can you share the screen with us, or can you go to the next slide?
Sure. Yeah.
Great. So basically, if you look at the QR codes that are available here, if you click on these, either Emily's or my information will be and websites pull up. So a search engine to over 2,500 to 3,000 properties available in Boston. Kind of broken down kind of what the price ranges are and what we have available between studios and 4 bedrooms in the South End area, which is closest to the campus. The second most popular area for people to live is the Back Bay, where we also have a range of studios to 4 bedrooms. It tends to be a bit more expensive than the Back Bay. And could you get the next slide? Mission Hill is the next area. It's close to Northeastern University, as well as has a selection of properties from studios to 4 bedrooms. It's similarly priced to the South End. And then there's the Fenway, which if you're a baseball fan, you'll be not far from the ballpark, where you also have a selection of studios to 4 bedrooms. It's about the same, on the same price par as the Fenway. We get the next slide. And then the other areas of interest are Roxbury and Jamaica Plain, which are also a little bit farther away, but you get a bit more space in these properties, as well as a lot more greenery around you and yards and things like that. And then South Boston, which is nearby, but not very easy to get to because it's in the other side of the expressway. So getting back and forth from South Boston to campus is not that easy, which is why it's not that popular with med school people. I could get the next slide. And once again, this is on the website. Here's our contact information and our websites, which both will link you to the entire inventory of what's available in Boston. And And now, Jonathan, can you share the screen with us?
Sure. Go ahead, and you can share now. You can share your screen.
It says sharing is disabled.
There you go. You should be able to do that now.
Awesome. So basically, one second. One moment. So here are a selection of properties that we have available in the area. Basically, being in the South End, we have the properties that we have available, start between those different move-in dates. They start between June 1st through September the 1st. Right here, we have a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, which is in walking distance of the campus. It's on Massachusetts Avenue, which is a popular place to live. This one does have a virtual tour with it. And in the interest of time, we're going to kind of like more look at the pictures of these, and these are also going to be sent out as a link. Anybody who wants to see these properties, they can do more in detail. This is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath for $39.50. Has the hardwood floors. Very common in the area is also the exposed brick walls, and has the updated kitchen with the gas stove and granite countertops. So this is a semi-updated one with a breakfast bar and updated bathroom and some nice fixtures. It's a bedroom shot, updated chandelier. And so it's kind of an example of a 3-bedroom. And now Emily will talk about the next unit. Back up from here. So here's the studio. Go ahead, Emily.
So this is a studio, 1-bath, heat, hot water, and electricity is included. It's cozy at 300 square feet, but it's very convenient to campus. And there is laundry in the building. Room for television, gas cooking, nice white kitchen, and eat-in area, and it has a decorative fireplace.
So,
And moving on to the next one, and this is available June the 1st, so it's available now.
So here we have another South End unit. It's on Dwight Street. It's available now. It's $21.95, includes heat and hot water. It is pet friendly and does allow cats. It is got a, between a studio and it's between a studio and a 1-bedroom. A 1-bedroom has a separate bedroom and a living room, and a studio here is combined. So you have your living room area with a desk, and there's no space for a desk, eating kitchen. Let me get rid of this. And living room area, bedroom, and this one has a bathtub. Some 1-bedrooms and just have showers. So just be if you're a bath person, just make sure that you get what you like. And next, we're going to go to a 2-bedroom.
So it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for $2,900. There's laundry in the building, heat and hot water is included, and yeah, it's 750 square feet. You'll notice in Boston, in the Boston area, in the city, it's quite common to have the heat and hot water included. Make sure you ask whether those utilities are included in the rent so you can budget appropriately. And this unit happens to be a basement level.
Yeah, be aware of basement units. If you like sunlight, it can be kind of an issue. But they do tend to be a little less expensive with a better condition. Next, we're going to go to.
Okay. Hey, William, we just want to make sure that we have time for Q&A.
Great.
Megan, do we have any questions?
Yes. Is it possible that you can share the website you're currently on right now so people can look at that?
Yes, we will. This will be shared with everybody. Yes. Let me go ahead and I can do that.
And if it's on the slides, we will be having that sent to you after the presentation.
Yeah, it's the one right here, the one on top of this, if it helps you. And also, if you the QR codes that are embedded in our contact information also give you access to all these listings, as well as to modify your search to your needs and just see what so you can modify dates, number of rooms, pricing, and everything.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you. Do you guys have any sort of indication of what rates would be in January? Because BU is adapting to like a learn from anywhere where students can come to campus as well as learn remotely. I think students want to understand some flexibility as far as if they're not going to come back in August and September, will they have a likelihood of finding something in January, or is it more limited during that time of year?
Great question. Yes, it is more limited, but there are still things available. The pricing tends to be around the same, maybe a little less expensive, but January is probably the 4th most busy month for rentals after this time of year. So the summer is our peak season, but January, with people moving to Boston for work and other reasons, as well as to start school, is a busy month. So there will definitely be availability. We just don't know what it is. Almost everything is kind of focused around a May through September or October rental cycle.
Okay, great. There's a student asking about advice with negotiating for a pet. When you see that there are no pets, is that truly always the case, or should they reach out and still try and have a conversation?
Well, the best thing to do, I'm working with many people that are looking for rentals that have pets, and it's best to partner with a real estate agent that's passionate about pets. And we know the owners that are more likely to be willing to negotiate about pets, and we're very experienced negotiating. So best idea is to partner with a real estate agent who can help you.
I would add to that yes, definitely. If you have a pet, definitely, if it says no pets, to talk about it. Landlords like medical students. You have a reputation of being responsible, and getting into med school is awesome. So definitely don't let that be a dissuader. Some of them are hard no pets, but more and more landlords are acceptable to it on a case-by-case basis with good references, and depending on what type of breed it is.
Great, thank you. And then there's a few more questions around September 1st. So if they're moving in September 1st, should they be looking for stuff now? What is the availability, and is it more expensive during that time frame?
Not really, no. The rents kind of stay. The busiest month actually is August. September, things kind of start to die down a little bit in terms of because people need to be, so we have a lot more people looking who will do an August 1st moving just to get to Boston a little earlier and enjoy the city a little bit before school starts. But you can also, every case is different. A lot of tenants move out mid-month, landlords, and so that they might be available earlier. It really is on a case-by-case basis. With COVID, we have a lot more people making decisions earlier about whether they're going to be moving or staying or buying, or whether the next stages of life that they're going through. So it really is, as of right now, the dates that are in here might change, as people might want to either move out early, but it's pretty much, you know, the rents in Boston, as we will acknowledge, are not cheap. So, but there's always room for negotiation on every level.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I want to move on to the next group. There are going to be questions. We'll have some Q&A afterwards, but we'll want to move on to the next participant. Thank you so much for Emily and William. I really appreciate your time from Center Realty Company, and I hope this was helpful for people. All right.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. All right. So All right, so next up is our colleagues from Mark Bruce Realty, and that's going to be Kevin Johnson is our presenter. I believe he's on. Kevin, are you here? Okay, doesn't sound like he's on. All right, so I'll just quickly go through some of the things that are here. Let me share my screen for you. So they have some properties that are available. They are just like Emily and William. They work with off-campus housing and a real estate company. They have some properties that are available on Commonwealth Avenue. This one's $3,200 a month, 2-bed, 2-bath, which is about a mile or so from the campus, which is connected through public transit as well as the BU shuttle. Harrison Avenue is really close to us, so there's properties available on Harrison Avenue, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Again, all of this information will be emailed to you after the presentation. We have Kenmore Square condos that are available, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, available for September 1st. Additionally, Back Bay on Beacon Street, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, available for July 1st. So there are things that are available in July if you're coming in. And then 1-bed, 1-bath in the Braymore, which I believe is in the Back Bay area, $2,750 a month, available for September 1st. If any of these properties are interested in you, this information will be emailed to you, and you can contact them at markbrucerealty.com, and that is their phone number. So let me move on to the next. Beacon Realty Properties, which I do know that Steve Handler is here. Hello, Steve. And before we start, we're going to play a video from Steve. Okay. So I was told that the video was not playing, the sound was not playing. I apologize for that. I'll try to see if I can make that available to you. But Steve is on our presentation, so I will defer to him. Steve?
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I apologize if apparently the video wasn't working, but I would be happy for you to talk about some of your services.
Not a problem at all. Actually, the fact that people couldn't hear me is probably a good thing, because there were more takes and bloopers to film a 2-minute video than I think the entire filming of the movie The Titanic. So that took me a long time, but I'm more than happy to talk to people today and tell them all about our company. My name is Steve Handler from Beacon Realty Properties. I have an office at 248 Newbury Street in the Back Bay. What differentiates us from everybody else that's on the panel today is that we are the landlord. We do not charge any broker fees or commissions on any of our rentals. And from the time you give our office a call, from the time you rent the apartment, take a look at it, put your deposits down, any maintenance issues that you have over the course of your tenancy, everything comes directly through our office. I graduated from Syracuse in 1988, and I've been doing this ever since. So 32 years, almost 33 years, has given me a tremendous amount of experience. And as you know, I do a lot of work with BU students and medical students. Specifically, are really wonderful and great to deal with. And I always feel fortunate when I'm able to help them out. I currently have 32 listings on the market. They're available anytime between now, September 1st, and everywhere in between. So whatever your time frame is as far as moving into an apartment, we can certainly help you. I have locations in 3 different neighborhoods. The Back Bay, which we have 2 buildings on Newbury Street. Newbury Street, if you don't know, is one of the nicest streets in the city. A lot of restaurants and cafes and shops and galleries all up and down the street. It's walking distance to the medical campus, and it's also only 2 blocks to Massachusetts Avenue, where you can either pick up the #1 bus, which is the MBTA bus, public transportation, or you can hop on the BU shuttle, which is free, and that'll bring you back and forth and up and down Mass Ave. I also have a building in the Back Bay at 405 Beacon Street, which is on the screen right now. I have apartments at 854 Beacon Street. That's considered South Campus, closer to the Charles River campus, right on public transportation, and a very short walk to the BU shuttle on Commonwealth Avenue. And then I have 2 buildings in Brookline on Beacon Street at 1061 Beacon, which is on the screen right now, and 1077 Beacon Street. The makeup of those 32 apartments, I have studios, which are either furnished or unfurnished, and they range in price from $1445 to $1895 per month. They all have private bathrooms. They all have kitchenettes. They have hardwood floors or wall-to-wall carpeting. As far as the furniture goes, it's really personal choice. It depends where you're coming from. If it's helpful for you to take our furniture, then by all means, we do not charge for it. Our prices are based on size of the apartment, not on what's inside. So carpeting versus hardwood, furnished versus unfurnished, doesn't make a difference as far as price goes. And I have these listing sheets ready to be emailed out after the presentation is over. If you want to send me an email, or if you want to give me a call at the office, I'm going to be here today, tomorrow, next week. I would be more than happy to send these listings out to you. And I can also follow up with photos, and we can go back and forth and until we find the apartment that you feel comfortable moving forward with. As far as the process to rent, if you're in Boston and you're able to come into our office, like I said, we're at 248 Newbury Street. We are conducting tours. We have units that are vacant right now that we are showing people, and we've also talked to our current tenants. They're more than happy to let us go into the apartments as long as you feel comfortable. We are asking people to be wearing masks and gloves, and not a problem meeting you at the buildings and taking you in so you can see the actual unit that you're going to be renting. If you're out of the city and unable to come to Boston, well, happy to spend a little more time with you and go through this, virtually. We have some tours, some video tours, and we can send you all the pictures that you could possibly want, again, to help you make your decision to live in our property. I just wanted to thank Jonathan for really putting together a great program today. I know that this is not ideal, and I was really looking forward to, seeing everyone at the medical campus like I do every year. But, between the virus and other situations, just unable to make it today. But, you did a great job, Jonathan, and you should be commended for putting together a terrific program. And I think you've really done a great job informing people, how to rent and go about the process of renting apartments.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Megan, do we have any questions for Steve?
We do. Is central AC is a typical feature for most of your listings?
So central air conditioning is typically going to be in the more modern buildings, ones that are newer. Our properties tend to be brownstones that we have converted over through the years. They will not have central air. Window air conditioners are allowed, and we're more than happy to help you install them when you move into the apartment. All you need to do is get it into the apartment, let us know, and we'll send our maintenance man over, typically within a day, to secure it in the window, and we'll also take it out when you're done.
Okay, great, thank you. And along a similar vein, do they have any alarm systems?
Security alarms, no, but all of our buildings have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and have a fully functional sprinkler system in them as well.
Okay, great. Can you talk about the typical price range of units in the Beacon Brookline area?
Sure. Again, with the studios, and I think I didn't finish with my price range, so thank you for that question. The studios, again, are going to be from $1,445 to $1,895 a month. I have some one-bedroom apartments available at 1061 and 1077 Beacon Street, which is considered South Campus. Those range from $2,195 to $2,395 per month. And then I have 2 and 3 bedroom apartments starting at $3,600 a month. And that would be at 1061 Beacon Street as well. In the Back Bay, 248 and 272 Newbury and 405 Beacon, we only have studios left.
Great. Those are all the questions for right now. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate that. All right. So our next property who is presenting is from James and Harrison Courts, Jennifer Heisey. Jennifer.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
Okay. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having us again. We always love this event. So,
Awesome. So you take it away.
all right. So I'm Jennifer with James and Harrison Court Apartments. We are located directly across the street from the BU Medical and Dental School. We have two different buildings. We have our James Court and Harrison Court. The biggest difference between the two is James Court has laundry room on each floor, whereas Harrison Court has laundry actually in unit. We offer studios, 1 bedrooms, 1 bedroom plus den, and also 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and 2 bedroom, 2 baths. So we're a professionally managed apartment community. We're managed by Greystar, one of the largest apartment management companies in the country. We have an on-site management staff here 7 days a week. We also have an on-site maintenance staff here as well, Monday through Friday, and we do offer emergency maintenance as well. We have a 24-hour concierge. We have Amazon lockers, so we accept packages for all of our residents. And then some of our amenity spaces that we have a 24/7 fitness center. We have a 24/7 resident lounge with a shuffleboard table. We also have a conference room that is available 24/7. You can reserve it for 2-hour blocks of time. We have a lot of our students use that for study groups and things like that. We also have a business center with free printing, which for the BU dental students, let me tell you, you're going to be doing a lot of printing, and that's going to come in really handy for you. We also are pet friendly. We allow both cats and dogs. We do have some pet amenities. We have our paw spa, and then we do have a little pet park as well. And then we do have 2 outdoor spaces. We have our James Court courtyard and our Harrison Court courtyard. In our apartments, included is the stove, refrigerator, dishwasher, microwave, and garbage disposal. Included in the rent is the heat, hot and cold water, sewer, and trash removal. So you would just be responsible for the electric bill and any type of internet or cable that you would wish to have. And then I know that somebody asked the other person, Steve, about AC. We do have central AC in all of our units. And I think that's about it.
Great. Yeah, and they are right next door to us at the medical campus, which is also.
Yeah, you really can't get any closer than our property to the medical and dental school.
Yeah.
And actually for the dental students, we do have an agreement with the dental school. So if you take your lease agreement over to the security office, they will give you backdoor access to the dental school building.
Oh, that's great to know. Thank
you.
you.
It is.
Thanks, Jennifer. Megan, do we have any questions for James and Harrison Court?
Question. Yes. Are prices for the unit usually negotiable, or are they set prices?
They are set prices by our ownership group. Right now, we are running some specials. If you move into one of our 1-bedroom apartments by July 20th, you will receive a full month's free rent. Any of our other apartments, you'll receive $1,000 off the first month's rent.
That's all. Great. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so our next presenter is the Overlook at St. Gabriel. Perry Lee is our presenter. Perry, are you available?
I am, yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Great, excellent. So I'm going to start with the video that you provided us first, and then you can start after that.
Great.
Excellent. All right, excellent. All right, so Perry, it's all you.
Great. You'll notice in the video, a lot of it looks like it was drone footage from pre-construction. The buildings have now been opened. We have our Overlook Landmark building, which is the former St. Gabriel's Monastery that's been redesigned with 27 apartment homes in that building. That building was originally built in 1909, and we've completely refurbished it and restored it with the blessing of the Boston Historical Society. We also have opened up Building 1, which is 128 apartment homes that you see right there on the screen. That building is now open and accepting move-ins. Our amenity space is now in the old St. Gabriel's Church, which is 22,000 square foot of amenity space that will open up early fall. We're super excited about that building opening. It will have a 5,000 square foot fitness center, boardrooms, a pub, a coffee bar, a viewing area like you see here. Just so many amenities that we actually have additional space where we're trying to build out even more amenities, such as a spin room, a yoga room. Building 1, which we saw a few seconds ago, that building does have 3 resident lounges in it. This image here is the resident lounge in the monastery building. That space is open and currently able to be utilized by the resident profile with social distancing, of course. We are currently holding applications for leases out to 90 days. So anyone who's interested in an apartment but can't move in until August or September, we are offering holds on those units. And we're currently doing 2 months free on anyone who rents through the end of this month. And then if you move in past July 1st, we are offering 1 month free. The community has a lot of really great amenities as far as there is a park right there on the site, as well as a promenade that will be opening up next year. The property has a private shuttle that takes our residents for free to Boston Landing, Brighton Center, and Harvard Square. That bus goes 4 times in the morning and has 4 trips in the evening, full round trips to those areas. Also, we have blue bikes on site and Zipcar as well. Our parking garage will open up next year. Currently, we do have an adjacent parking lot where residents are parking until the garage opens up. As you saw, our pool actually opens up at the end of the year. Of course, it won't be open because pools aren't normally open, but it will be in Building 2, which will open in November. We will keep the pool deck open during the time period that the pool can't be open due to weather. Then with Building 3, which will open in January, February of next year, there's also a meditation garden in that building. And all of our buildings have private amenity space, either demo kitchens or lounges for residents and sky lounges, actually in 3 of the new construction buildings. So we're super excited about welcoming everyone into those buildings. We do have 1 to 4 bedroom apartment homes. Our 4-bedroom is very limited. It's currently actually all occupied. We do have 3-bedroom, 3-bath apartments, which is unusual in Boston. So if you do have, roommate situation and you want to have 2 roommates, you can each have your own private bath, which is really nice.
Excellent. Just to let everyone know where the Outlook at St. Gabriel is located.
Yeah, sure. The Overlook at St. Gabriel is located in Brighton Center, but we are very close to the Green Line. And again, the shuttle takes people to Boston Landing, which can take them, to South Station. And we're also located close to 2 bus lines.
Great, thank you. Megan, do we have any questions in the Q&A?
Sorry, just getting through. What is the price range in Overlook, please?
Sure. The prices start at $2,500 for a studio, and then our most expensive apartment, of course, is our 4-bedroom, which is significantly more expensive at $6,700. So all of our availability and pricing is available at the overlookstgabriels.com. We have about 155 floor plans, so people are always going to feel like their apartment is very unique, and some apartments that we only have 1 of that particular floor plan. but all of our floor plans are available online.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope, we're not right now.
Okay, awesome. All right, Perry, thank you so much. Appreciate you telling us about the overlook at St. Gabriel.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Absolutely, thank you. All right, our next presenter is for furnished quarters, and Brittany Cunha. I think I saw her earlier. Brittany, are you available?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
So excited.
Yes, well, thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us. So I'm gonna, you have a video that I'm gonna play, and then after that, we'll start your presentation.
Okay. I know the videos weren't showing the audio earlier, so I don't know if there's something extra you need to click.
I will see. Find out. Can you hear?
No. I can't see either.
Oh, odd. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, can we see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
We can see, we just can't hear.
Okay, now it's playing. Can you hear now?
That's okay. It's no problem.
Okay, all right. All right, Brittany, you're on.
All right. Did you happen to have my slideshow, or do you
I
want me to
do.
pull? All right. Thank you. Well, I'm super happy to be here, guys. Our company is a little different than what you've seen tonight or today. My name's Brittany Cunha, and I work for Furnished Quarters. It's a temporary housing company. So we offer short-term apartments and provide that flexibility that I think everyone is interested in right now. All of our apartments are located in luxury buildings all over Boston and Cambridge. So right now we're in 17 different buildings. Closest to BUMC is going to be a property called the Radian at 120 Kingston Street. We're also located at a few different properties in the Back Bay, 100 Arlington on Stewart Street. And all of these buildings are going to include 24-hour concierge service. They have fob entry for extra security, and they often are going to have laundry, if not in unit, in the property, which is really convenient. All of our apartments as well are going to be fully furnished and completely turnkey. So that includes cable, phone, internet, all of your utilities. We include your bed and bath linens, your housewares like pots, pans, settings for 8. And then we include 24-hour guest service as well. So that means if anything's going on with the apartment, say your dishwasher's not working, you can reach out to us. We will handle it with the building, make sure that everything is taken care of for you, and you don't have to manage anything at all. So really convenient. I'll say as far as flexibility, I know everyone is interested in not having those lease terms of September 1st for 12 months. Maybe you want to come in January. Our minimum stay requirement right now is 10 days, but we also do leases up to a year. So I partner with schools and help students with the best possible pricing. I help them when they're looking for pet friendly to find the best property for them. These properties include, fitness centers, resident lounge, You know, they're all high-end luxury buildings. And then you don't really have to bring anything other than your own personal clothing. So really great turnkey experience. And then Jonathan, if you have we're just not seeing the, there we go. Yeah, so here are some examples of some properties that we're located in. This is 100 Arlington on Stewart Street. So you can see that we have kind of a defined style for our apartments. You'll always see a pull-out sofa bed in there, but then a really chic turnkey experience so you can feel comfortable at home. If you go to the next slide, I think we'll see, you know, a nice large bed. We're also very flexible for roommates. If you'd like to switch out your king bed to be 2 twins, kind of share the price that way, it's definitely possible. If you go to the next screen, I think we can look at some other properties. This is the Radian, so very close to the school. This is 120 Kingston Street on the edge of the financial district near South Station. So certainly walkable. And this building is really high end. It's only a few years old. So you'll see that it's kind of the same seamless furniture package, really comfortable and convenient. As far as flexibility due to COVID-19, we have drastically reduced our rates. So we're just above our actual own costs for the remainder of the year. So definitely reach out if you want to get the best discount. We're also offering a 10-day cancellation fee. So that's going to provide you if your dates change or if you just decide, oh, I think I might just come in January instead. It's a really convenient option for you right now. We also have flexible lease terms. So that means if you take a 1-year lease with us, but then decide you only want to stay for 3 months, as long as you provide 30 days notice, you're able to leave that apartment scot-free. As well, we try to keep our fees all inclusive in our rate. So there's no security deposit required. There's no additional fees. Everything is turnkey in your rate. And we don't require first or last months. We just require your first month of rent up front, but there's no security deposit. So you kind of just pay by the month on the first. So really convenient that you don't have to feel a huge out of pocket when you're coming to stay with us. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yes, so could you give some price ranges for what a year-long lease would look like?
Sure. So right now we have incredibly discounted rates. I would say that a 1-bedroom apartment is going to be around $4,500 per month. That's because we are at all high-end luxury buildings. And that's going to include everything you need. So a totally turnkey experience.
Okay, great. That was the only question. Thank you.
All right.
Sure. We
Great.
also have seasonal pricing, just to let you guys know. So during our slower months, we're going to have drastically discounted rates as low as, $99 a day in December. So definitely keep that in mind, and always feel free to reach out at any time with any budget, and I'll do my best to help. All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Brittany. Appreciate that. And contact information is here. And again, all this will be emailed to all of our participants. All right, so I want to open up to any additional questions for anybody or for me or any of our presenters. This would be the time for it.
All right, great. So we do have a few.
Okay.
Have the rent costs changed due to COVID?
That is a good question. Any of our panelists also want to answer this question too?
I can answer.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Furnished. For furnished, we have drastically reduced our rates. So typically in the summer, our rates for a furnished apartment were starting at $6,000 per month and up. Currently, right now, I'm offering rates as low as $3,600 per month. So for temporary housing, we have seen a decrease in rate, but that will likely change in the future.
I think that from what I've seen is that if it depends on what it is, you'd want to ask the question with any of the property management companies. Probably when things start to come back to normal, prices are going to go back to where they have been for the last year. Excuse me. So I would make sure that you just ask the question about if you're getting a deal, what if there's going to be any sort of change in the future for any rent or other fees that you'd have to pay.
Jonathan, I would just add, I think the market is really trying to find itself right now. I mean, in a typical year, we'd be well into it and we would all know, kind of where everything is. But, as the schools in Boston continue to announce that they're going to be open in the fall, I know BU has already said they're going to be there, and Boston College and Northeastern and some of the smaller schools. I think it's becoming a little clearer and the water level is starting to level off a little for us to know, where these rents are going to be.
Thanks, Steve. Okay.
Great. And Jonathan, there's a question about understanding kind of where some of these, if they're not local, what these street names mean and how they relate to BU transportation being available and other transportation. So can you talk about resources to find out about where the BU shuttle does run and then how they can navigate that?
Absolutely. So the BU shuttle is listed as bu.edu/thebus. It is a great way to get between the medical campus and the Charles River campus. Now, if you are coming, the Charles River campus is located in the Kenmore, Alston, Brighton area of Boston. Some of the properties that the people have been talking about have been mentioned in Kenmore Square and Beacon Street. Those are all accessible by the BU shuttle. You can get there, and even if it's a little bit farther, it's not that much farther on public transit. So yeah, there are a lot of street names, and they don't necessarily make any sort of logistical sense, but all the properties that we were talking about have some sort of connectability to public transit. MBTA.com, again, for trying to connect with the public transit within Boston. Additionally, if you are on the BU shuttle, there are stops that are right next to the Massachusetts train stop for the Orange Line, the Symphony stop on the Green Line, as well as the Heinz Convention Center stop on the Green Line. So that will allow you to come in from a number of train lines right into the Boston University Medical Campus. Additionally, there are a couple of highly used bus lines, including the One Bus, that come right into the medical campus. So mbta.com is also going to be that good resource, and I will be sending that information to you as an attendee of this event.
Great, thank you. And I also just put into the chat a link for public safety. They offer escorts back and forth as well if you feel unsafe. So that's another resource to consider.
Thank you.
So yeah, some students have concerns if they don't find housing by the end of June, early July, should they begin to worry?
I wouldn't begin to worry. I think that if you're still looking, I would say start searching right now, and the people who you have presented today are going to be able to help you try to find something if there are specific things that you're looking for, and they can kind of work with some of the needs that you possibly have. What will happen is that the longer it takes, or the closer you get to the time that you are starting, it will become more difficult to find places that might be in your price range. But I know that I can speak for pretty much anyone here. They are willing to work with you, and if you're looking to try to find something, they are very willing and open to trying to find something for you, either now or even later on in the summer term.
Okay, great. There's also some concern around if there's a discounted rate now with everything going on, is there a chance that later down the road landlords can increase the price, and how much can they increase that? And just any more guidance on that would be appreciated.
Mm-hmm. So Oh, I thought someone else was coming in. Yeah, so if you have a fixed lease, so then whatever that price would be for the term of the lease, that's going to determine what your rate's going to be. Now, after your lease is over, they could increase your rent up to increase that by, not an insignificant amount. It could be a couple $100s a month over what you had before, but that would be something that you'd want to ask. If you are going to be getting a discounted rate, I'd say, what would be the normal rate for this apartment or this property going to be? And would that be look to it after the lease of the term is over, whether or not that price would go back to the original kind of sticker price that they were charging from before. So, it is a concern, but it's something something that you definitely want to ask when you are looking at one of these great deals, because it can be good to kind of get you settled in, but afterwards, you don't want to have be surprised when there is a huge jump in your lease when they're trying to renew for the next year. So yeah, that is something that you want to see, ask that kind of difficult question of what it will be next year, and what could you anticipate an increase in the rent going to be.
Great. Could you also discuss maybe some of the neighborhoods that they could focus on if they wanted to find a cheaper rent available?
Sure. So so there are different prices in different neighborhoods, and let me go back. I'm actually gonna go back to one of our older slides from earlier today, because that will help to kind of give a little bit of information. One thing is that you can find good deals in every single neighborhood. It's just kind of trying to find what you're looking to have. Let me get that.
And Jonathan, while you're doing that, is it also possible to pull up that map so people can see the neighborhood?
That's what I was doing.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Read my mind.
Okay, so yes, so we'll do a little bit of quick Boston geography. So, the South End and Back Bay generally are going to be a little bit more expensive. That doesn't mean that you can't find properties that are going to be more cost effective. I think even some of our presenters have provided some options that can be pretty cost effective that are in some of the neighborhoods like Back Bay, Fenway, Kenmore. So some of the names that you'll see here or some of the properties we're talking about: Kenmore, Brookline, Brighton. These are all properties that Steve was referring to. These are properties that Emily and Center Realty is referring to. And then in Perry's property, the overlook is over here in Brighton. So what will happen is that some of the neighborhoods that you're seeing here that are shaded, that are a little darker, are going to be on average a little bit more expensive. They are closer to the center of the city. They're closer to public transit. They're closer to points of interest. As you go farther out, the properties can be a little bit less expensive just for the fact that it's a little bit farther out. It's not close. It's close to some of the points of interest and places of business that you might have in the city. But this resource, this will be emailed to you, will have some information about what you're looking for. So that would be a little bit more price conscious. And also, if you're looking for price conscious, you may also be looking at some of the smaller units or sharing with multiple people. But yeah, so some of the more expensive neighborhoods are the ones around here. As you go farther out, they get a little bit less expensive, but that will come with the price of you not having to pay less in rent will then kind of come with a longer commute potentially.
Jonathan?
Yes.
I was wondering if I could possibly just go back to people asking since the rents are a little lower right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
What will they be in the future? Most private landlords, if you're there for a year and you're a good tenant, they'd rather keep you, so they'll keep the rent increases to a minimum. So because it's expensive to replace people and to get new tenants in. And a lot of landlords will do a 2 or 3 year lease with an escalation clauses, so you can know what the rent increases will be, or it might be the same. That's also part of the negotiation of what you're interested in.
Great. Thanks, William.
Great.
All right,
Jonathan,
Megan.
can you also talk about options for biking to campus as well as parking? Are there spots available for students to park on campus?
Sure. So I'll talk about biking. I actually, I'm a biker. Well, not right now, but I do bike to campus as part of my commuting. There's a cage on campus, or you can lock your bike up. There are, and mentioned in previous presentations, Blue Bikes. What Blue Bikes are is that that's a rental bike company where you can rent a bike for a period of time, pick it up at a docking station, and then take it to another docking station when you're dropping it off. So the Transcom office, which will be provided to you, they actually have some really good resources for bike commuters. They have access to the bike cages. They have low-priced helmets that are available, as well as some during the academic year. They actually have bike shops will come and do tune-ups on your bike. I've had that done many times, and it's really great to just kind of go in and kind of make sure that everything is working properly. Again, it's not for everybody. It can be kind of jarring for people who have never biked in the city before, so it isn't for everyone. Parking. So parking is at a very premium in the medical campus area. There are some available parking garages, but they are expensive. They can run $300 a month. So it's not really suggested that, unless you have some sort of reason why you'd be driving to campus, trying to avoid that as much as possible. Especially with a lot of construction going on right now, that parking spots that would necessarily be available are not available because they're being taken up by construction vehicles. So to the extent that you can, try not to drive to campus, but that may not be available for everyone. But the BUMC parking office has some more information about that as well.
Great, thanks, Jonathan.
Sure.
There's a question about shedding some light on the safety in the different neighborhoods.
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely something that a lot of students have questions about, and we actually retooled our neighborhood website to also include safety. You're coming into a urban environment. So while Boston itself generally is a generally safe neighborhood, things can happen, and what you want to do is, if you're concerned about any particular neighborhood, what you want to do is keep an eye out for some changes that are going on the Boston Police Department in their crime statistics, as well as the BPD News, which is available through the neighborhoods page, which actually you can see right here at the bottom of the slide, has a direct link. So they'll give you up-to-date crime statistics about every single neighborhood within the city, whether it's the South End where we're located, or in Brighton, or Jamaica Plain, or in South Boston, wherever you're looking. So you'll be able to have a general idea. Again, I lived in the South End for almost a decade, and I feel completely safe in this neighborhood, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you feel safe in the neighborhood. Again, it's a city, so you want to be aware of your surroundings at any time. But at the same point, as long as you're being smart and aware. And some of the things that I always recommend for people is the earbuds. So these things can be really hard to not have in when you're walking, but especially at night, and if you're by yourself, having those out of your ear is actually a good thing. Also, public safety at the medical campus is actually really good, and they have a pretty good website and have some really good tips about keeping yourself safe, what to consider, and we have a link to that through our neighborhoods and safety page.
Great, thank you, Jonathan. On that neighborhood and safety page, is there also information for the best neighborhoods for families with young children?
So we have some information about different types of neighborhoods, and there is a family resources office at Boston University. It's actually located in the Charles River campus. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for, because there are students who are living in the South End who have children. You may not have as much outdoor space. So the farther you go from, if you're looking for more outdoor space of a yard, or you may want to be looking at neighborhoods that are a little bit more residential, in the Alston Brighton neighborhoods, that are in Quincy or parts of Cambridge. But there are parks in the entire city. There They're great for, for your kids if you have pets. Some will have actual dog parks. Some will be, you can't have your dogs off a leash, but you can definitely bring them and have that ability to, and to be outdoors. Like I live in this, again, I've said I live in the South End. There, within walking distance, there are 3 parks where there are a lot of young children who are running around and enjoying themselves, and there's dogs and there's families. So I think that it's kind of what you're looking for. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more of a larger yard, the farther you go from the center of the South End Back Bay, the more likely you'll have a little bit more private space or access to larger open spaces.
Okay, great. Now we have some more procedural questions. So one person said during their search, they noticed that some places require a minimum monthly income. Are there options off the table for grad students who don't plan to be working while they're enrolled in school?
So you're looking for a place and then they have required minimum place. Actually, so William, Emily, so you work with a number of different types of students. Could you tell us a little bit about what you encounter in these kind of situations?
Are you talking about like families and things like that? Or I'm sorry, I missed the context of it.
Oh, sure. Maggie, could you read the question again?
1 second, it was moved, so I'm trying to find it.
It was about for, in general, is like students who are required to have a monthly minimum income for properties. What are some options for students when they encounter that kind of a requirement?
Basically, that's a bit more relaxed for students. Depends on what your financial aid package looks like or how you're planning on paying for your housing. So it's on a case-by-case basis. It's on the same, it's different than for working professionals because we expect, lenders expect students have less of a disposable income because they're spending most of your time in school anyway. So it's on a case-by-case. Everyone always finds a place to live. So it's not, the debt income ratio doesn't always apply. Credit scores and previous landlord references are very important, but it's nothing that we haven't overcome.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. Are application fees ranging from $50 to $100 a legitimate fee? And also, is it normal for a company to ask for first month's rent before signing a lease so they can present it to the landlord?
Can I answer that?
Absolutely, please do.
Yes, with an application, our application fee happens to be $20 per person. It's a little less than other people's. When we do receive the applications, we do expect a month deposit in order to take it off the market. In most cases, the funds are not deposited until we have an accepted application. But yes, at least a check should be written out with the applications.
Thank you, that was very helpful.
Some of the managed buildings require like a $500 deposit that we also work with. So not every single unit. Most private landlords do require a month's rent, but every case is different. So there are those that do require and don't.
Great, thank you. All right, Jonathan, one more question about parking. So
Yes.
Can you just clarify, is there street parking available or is it typically garage options?
So in the South End neighborhood, so most of the street parking that you're gonna find, especially around the medical campus, is gonna have 1 or 2 options. One is gonna be metered parking, so you're gonna be paying on an hourly, but you usually can only be parking at a meter for up to 2 hours. So it's really more for short term. There is a lot of resident parking, so you have to be a resident of the South End to actually be able to park there and get a sticker that you put on your window. There are some limited spots up on Shawmut Avenue, which is about 3 or 4 blocks away, which is available that does not require you have a permit or have meters. The downside of it, it's very, very limited. So around the area, there is pretty limited on-street parking. Again, I mentioned the parking garages. that are around the medical campus, again, they run very expensive. If you're driving to and from there on a monthly basis, it can run you as up to $300 a month just for the parking access.
Hey, Jonathan?
Yeah,
Can I just go back to the fees for 1 second?
please do.
All right. So we just try to make it really easy with my company. We don't charge any fees other than first month, last month, and a 1 month refundable security deposit. That's it. So there's no application fees, no fees to do a credit check. Just so people know, pet deposits in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts are illegal. So if anyone asks you for a deposit for the pet, it's not kosher.
Great. That's really helpful. Appreciate that, Steve.
We don't have any more questions in the chat. That was all.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us today at the BU Virtual Housing Fair. I want to thank all of my presenters from Center Real Estate, Beacon Realty Properties, Furnished Quarters, the Overlook, and James and Harrison Court. And again, we'll have this all will be available on our website, and anyone who is a registered attendee will be receiving this as well as other resources emailed to them in the next day. So have a great weekend. Good luck on your search, and have a nice one. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.